Greetings, Jeff here. A little tired today, a little out. I probably shouldn't even do this, but it's election year 2024, and it's crazy already. The rhetoric is weird. Things are weird out there. Um, I always tell people to judge the messages that you're getting, judge platforms, judge posts on social media, judge things like that. Judge them based on the content of what is actually said and not the person or the political party or something, whatever that's saying this thing, right? Um, but I'm guilty. I'm guilty of it uh, too. I'm not judging. So there's a bunch of candidates now that we're in the primary elections coming up March 5th of this year. And I got this mailer, and so there's all these candidates for Senate. I mean, there's like a million candidates for Senate in California, all different parties. And I'm so disgusted with war and just this kind of kowtowing to our lobbyists and our military industrial complex, the thing that Eisenhower tried to warn us about. All the candidates just totally they just get on that nipple right away. Just Raytheon, Biden's cabinet is just complete Wessex Act, Raytheon. And there's no journalism about that. No one cared. No leftist. Or they know a lot more about why they're mad at Elon Musk or what Elon Musk didn't invent or something. Elon never invented anything. Yeah, he just takes from others. So they have all this rhetoric about certain individuals and things like that, but they don't seem to know about actual power, and they can't judge actual messages. I mean, even if you really adore Elon Musk, or even if you really, despise him, he might say something correct every now and then. He might post something that's correct or good or nice. But no, wait, just Elon's so gross, just dismiss it. And that's where we're at right now. This hyper tribal, hyper personality politics, cult of personality. And that's really sad. But I'm guilty of it too. That's what I was going to say. Is that I'm flipping through here, and anytime I see a Democrat by the person's name, screw them. Republican, no. So I'm reading all these statements by whoever else is there, but now I've limited myself to just so I've eliminated. I can't. I'm not even considering the Democrats or the Republicans. And that's sad. I should engage with the content. There might be an actually really great candidate in there who happens to be a Democrat or happens to be a Republican or whatever. There's some fluidity now. We've seen since pandemic and Trump and everything, there's some incredible flip flops, right? The Democratic Party is no longer the party of labor and peace and all that. They're the party of tribal conformity. And we know what's right, Jeff. We take the vaccine from Pfizer. We don't question it. All those other anti-vaxxers out there, their minds are whacked out of MAGA. So it's hyper tribal. It's totally stupid, and people are manipulated, and it's growth. But what I'm saying is, I myself should just go ahead and engage with the content, what's there in my little manual here, and you should too. That's rule one. I mean, we should, all of us, if someone comes out and says, I have a message of love and peace and unity, right now people would say, oh, but you're a white man. You can't, no, there's something wrong with you just based on your skin tone and your gender. And so I can no longer hear what you're saying. I can't engage with you. Sorry. And if somehow the Holy Spirit or Creator or Gaia or whatever put a good message in you and you are going to deliver it to us, yeah, and we're just not going to hear it now. Sorry. has to come from a really powerful black woman, you know, or we're not even going to listen to it anymore, based on this hyper tribal and racist thing that's going on now. Anti-white racism is racism. Racism, by definition, if you just want to not be in a cognitive dissonance weirdness or lost in idiocy, just you want to just know what words mean, semantics, this kind of thing. Racism is when you judge somebody based on the color of their skin and their identity and how they look and stuff from far away. Like you can be a half a block away and you say, "Look, there's a black dude. I'm afraid of him," or "I already know I don't like this, or I do like this," or something. That's racism, right? When you see a white dude, "Oh, look, he's going to try to mansplain to me. Oh, he's a former slave owner. He's against reparations. He's part of MAGA. He's got the fear. He's probably walking around talking about critical race theory or something, replacement theory or whatever." You're racist, right? When I'm walking down 14th Street in Oakland and somebody from a half a block away starts calling me a white devil, I know that a lot of liberals and progressives right now are incapable of recognizing that that is racism. Yeah, they don't understand, but they think, "Oh, that's just equity playing itself out." That's another thing we need to distinguish these words: equity and equality. Equality says there's an equality of opportunity. We recognize that there has been racism, there has been systemic white supremacy in this society. You can't deny it. And because of that, we're trying to correct it. We're trying to provide this place where, hey, we put two people out there, black, white, Jewish, whatever, Hindu, whatever, doesn't matter, Christian, pagan. If they are playing by the rules of the society and being successful and doing what they want to do, they should have equality of opportunity. Well, that's what we used to think. And that's kind of what I was into when I was a young progressive and certainly not registered Republican, trying to be a good Democrat and all that kind of stuff. I really believe in that. The equality of opportunity, that's a great idea. But equity says we now want to go into crafting outcomes. We don't want to just let things happen, let the cream rise to the top and all that kind of stuff. No, don't do that. We want to actually guarantee we have 10 spots open at this company. We want to make sure that 4 of them are filled by African American women. And we want 2 of them to be filled by really powerful Jewish women. And we want 3 to be filled by other, BIPOC, and no white males. We've got too much white male already. No white males. So that is actually racism. That's what equity, that's what the agenda of equity is. And I think some of that might be justifiable at this time in our history, sure. But unfortunately, the outcome of that, the result of that, embracing, promoting actual racism, actual making decisions based on the gender or, the sort of what kind of, plumbing they got downstairs, what kind of skin tone, all that. When you're just, hey, we're going to go ahead and just do that. We're just going to embrace that kind of decision making. We want to make decisions based on skin tone and gender. That doesn't end well. Even if you do it for right reasons at first, it doesn't go well. And it's super trendy right now. I mean, it's super trendy on NPR type, kind of progressive corporate Democrats. They really love it because corporate Democrats are, in fact, covering for a plunder, a theft of resources from the working class going up to a kind of globalist international class. They're anti-American, even. They're anti-everything that's good for working class people. They're using climate change and other stuff to kind of bludgeon people. So, frackers are going to tell you why you can't drive your little car, right, little plebe. And racism is going to be folded into that. It is getting folded into that, right? It's going to be the white males. Oh, they want to hang on to their lifestyle. Can't understand, Might have been a great environmentalist trying to stop fracking in the past, but now doesn't embrace, global climate change enough, in the right way, the way the corporate people are pushing it, right? There's no analysis of who. I don't want to get a message about climate change from a fracker or from someone who flies in a private jet to Davos. I don't want to hear anything from them based on their behavior, not their skin tone. See, I judge on behavior and content. And that's what activists used to do. When you were in an activist group and suddenly there was some problems, some controversy, you were told to focus on the behavior, not the person saying it or putting it into the group. You're supposed to focus on their behavior, what they're doing that's divisive. And that keeps the group from falling into real divisive problems. Our society has fallen for just the complete opposite. We're saying that, no, don't judge behavior or content. Judge the guy who came into the group based on his skin tone and so-so, right? If he's a trans, now female black woman, can't do anything wrong. We can't judge that person. They can do whatever. Just let them have access to the server. Let them take over. Let them do whatever. Finances server. Just do them treasurer. Cool. But white dude, whoa. Ooh, brakes on. Might be saying the exact right thing. Can't have them. Can't do it. Right, based on skin tone. So that's racism, and we need to stop it. We need to stop it for the protection of the BIPOC, for the advancement of the transgender and their rights. I want transgenders to just walk out there and just feel safe and just no one's hassling them. You should never feel like you're going to go out to a movie and be hassled because you're wearing a dress or something like that. Whatever, that's fine. I don't care. Do whatever you want, right? Now it gets different when you're saying you're going to teach my kids. If you're going to teach my kids, let's keep it to the subjects, math, history, stuff like that. And kind of avoid like how to give a great blowjob as a kid to an older man, or why a transgender person needs to wave their genitals in your face at, library story hour or something like that, right? Let's keep the genitals and sex and stuff like that away from the children. I see, now that sounds crazy. But consenting adults, do whatever you want. Just do it with yourselves, and that's awesome. Hopefully, don't abuse animals or whatever. But you know what I mean. Between two other consenting adults, I don't care what you do. I don't care who you are, how you dress, sounds you make during sex, whatever. That's all you. I don't really want to know about it. I don't even care. You know what I mean? It only becomes a other regarding act when you're trying to tell 30 children that it's you're trying to force it on children. I think why that's happening now so much is because that's the final thing they can trigger us with. Can't be triggered by much else in a society like ours. It's so stimulated, culturally wasted. The only thing that can kind of trigger us, make us fight against each other now, is like waving dicks in kids' faces. That's where we're at now. You know what I mean? Like, I get to wave my dick in your kid's face. You don't even get to ask about it, or you're racist. That's kind of where we've gone. That's really unfortunate. But how we avoid that, is by once again getting back to being able to judge people by, as Martin Luther King said, by the content of their character. Now, I got on the radio the other day on KPFA and heard a whole hour-long program condemning white people that quote Martin Luther King. Yeah, Raytheon, we're about ready to have World War III in the Middle East. Biden's cabinet is infiltrated by Raytheon and West Exec. No one cares, right? But a white dude quoted Martin Luther King the wrong way. And all the diatribes, the stereotypes, the stupid, that the white man only likes Martin Luther King 1963 and not Martin Luther King 1967. That's a nice critique. That's critiquing what the white man said, though, because he only quoted I Have a Dream and he didn't quote Let's Get Out of Vietnam, or, freedom without economic freedom is sentimental and anemic. right? In the 67 years, guess what Martin Luther King was working on? Unions, sanitation workers, class awareness, class politics. That's when he got shot. Fred Hampton. Let's unite along class lines. Boom, dead, right? So the elites know what's dangerous is when whites, poor blacks, poor Asians, poor Native Americans, whatever, when they get together and claim their real kind of cultural heritage, know where they are in the place of history, unite and start taking charge and winning things for the working class. That, of course, is threatening to the elites. So what the elites love is when a BIPOC is calling me out at a library for my skin tone. That's what elites love. That elites don't care about the BIPOC. They don't care about someone being able to have sex or wear a dress. They don't give a shit about any of that. They're taking the money. They're starting wars. And we have no resistance to that. Now, in fact, the conservatives, there's Republicans that are talking about war, talking about it getting out of war, talking about equality, talking about helping, raising, lifting, uniting, right? So it's too bad the left has surrendered that. They've surrendered basically love and replaced it with hate. And that's sad. And that's what I feel. That's what I see. I'd love to be convinced that something else, but it's not, unfortunately, not happening. In this election year 2024, we need to focus. We need to get an agenda. There's still no agenda. People's Party, People's Platform, Cornel West took it for a while. Now that's all soured and sullied and weird, right? All political and identity down to nothing. Gone. People's Platform, gone. Not happening. We really need it. We're not going to get affordable health care. We're not going to get affordable housing. People are going to be in a maximum precarious position. And what do you do when you're precarious? Sometimes you vote for a faux populist demagogue. Ooh, who knew, right? Fascism sometimes creeps back when people are really desperate and out of their minds. People that are eating well, educated, taken care of, with some leisure time with their families, they don't vote for freaks. They don't vote for Hitler. They'll never let that happen. People that are desperate and weird and precarious are isolated, are told that there's something wrong with them. There's some kind of original sin about them, something dirty, not right. Just out of the womb, just boom, nothing, just boom, they popped out of the womb, and there's already something wrong with them, right? Then you do anything. If you've already called me a misfit, if you've already said I'm guilty, well, then I may as well murder your ass and take your candy bars. You know what I mean? I may as well do whatever I want. Because you've already said I'm a piece of shit based on my skin tone. So let's avoid that. Economics, a positive platform, working together, and a class consciousness, an awareness of what class you're in, an awareness of the real political players, that there is a company called Raytheon, that there's a company called Pfizer, that they have a lot of budgets for advertising and lobbying, and you don't. Those are the kind of things you should realize, right? And you're not a racist if you're pointing these things out. I love my brothers and sisters. I've never lived in an all white community. I have been blessed to live in California. My parents moved out here, and I've been blessed, really, with friends from Hawaii and Guam and India and Pakistan, and just I didn't care. I don't care. As a kid, I was aware of who was rich and who wasn't, who was poor. I knew that. I had class consciousness and awareness and some prejudice at that time. I did. I was a little bit afraid of the kids from the poor school. And I thought the kids from the rich kid school were a bunch of pansies. Neither of them were true, you know. Anyway, but they were all as diverse as us. They were culturally diverse too. So don't fall for the racism that's being promoted right now. It's destructive racism. It's not anything helpful. It's not good. The way that the discussion around reparations is going is also way different than it was back in Oklahoma. that was a productive discussion of paying back some reparations to people that had actually been fucking gutted and burned down Black Wall Street and Tulsa, right? So you're gonna pay reparations to specific harms, to specific people. You're gonna do it to a whole race, a whole class. I mean, not a whole class, a whole group of an ethnic group. One ethnic group against another. It means that one ethnic group is pure and awesome and never did any problems, right? African Americans, African history. There's no slavery back there. Egyptians never did slavery. No, we're not allowed to talk about that. But one group did, and starting in 1619, the American white male invented slavery, right? According to the new narrative, never existed before. There was no British East India Company. There was nothing going on before 1619. Suddenly, a white American male, just invented racism because he hated black people, because he was just like this cruel beast, right? It wasn't anything to do with economics or triangle, trade, sugar, rum, or nothing like that, None of that matters. None of that was going on. The Spaniards never came to looking for El Dorado and enslaved a bunch of Native Americans or whatever. No, because those Spaniards got a little brown. They're not what's so white, right? And they didn't start in the 1400s, 1500s. No. That didn't happen after the Crusades were over. Crusaders turned to the New World, some kind of church doctrine. But no, we're not. All we are focusing on is alienating white people right now to stoke this horrible racism and distract everyone from the economic plunder and the switch to a kind of digital prison that's going up for most of humanity right now. The world is being financialized, digitalized, globalized. Big groups of people are going to be left out of that. I think elites want a lot of them to just kind of go away and die. I mean, really, literally. And now there's talk that another virus is coming around. X, whatever, Ebola, weaponized Ebola. I don't even know what it is yet. We did so poorly with our reaction to COVID. We're still out of our minds with it. People are still completely dorked out of their minds. They haven't really acknowledged how badly the medical system failed them and let their old people die alone of a curable disease that could have been there were early treatments for. They haven't acknowledged that yet. So the institutions are just screwing you hard right now, right? But you're blaming other people with superficial traits that you don't like now, and that's sad. And we shouldn't have let that happen, but we did. We need to get over it. Wake up, start to engage with real power again. Real power, not superficial traits. All right.